Hi, I'm Ryan Thompson, and this is a quick breakdown on GAAM Gladiators. GAAM Gladiators was an offshoot of the GAAM show. GAAM show was a charity gaming art show, and more and more our community wanted to see esports happen. And so instead of trying to just smush all the esports and competitive gaming into GAAM show, we decided to create an offshoot product, GAAM Gladiators, just to focus on competitive gaming and playing games in general, not everything else that was a GAM show. So as you can see, we tried to stick with the GAM branding. Blue and white was kind of synonymous with GAM at that point. Oh, we'll play this one. A hype video. Gotta throw that Marvel throwback in there. Jacksonville has a huge FGC scene, so we were trying to really lean into that jump. So all videos and site creation, content marketing house. When I say in house, I should say me. I know there was the other video was done by Jeff Enriquez, which is great. Um, but yeah, we just tried to listen and chime in on what our community wanted, and bigger East. Usually, our community would have had to drive out to Orlando or Miami to get something like this. Just to put an event together this scale for Jacksonville was a big deal. But yeah, traditional site design, mobile friendly. Try to make everything as clear as possible. One of the difficulties we found is that a lot of the GAM audience would be, and I think for most esports events, are spectators. Uh, Quite a bit of them are competitors, and they understand terminology used in terms of getting a. They're used to saying, "Okay, here is my pot fee, and here is my venue," right? Uh, that like venue fee doesn't make sense to a traditional attendee or someone that isn't deeply entrenched in esports, that isn't competing. So we went with a more traditional sports model in terms of the lingo and just calling them spectators. um, More along the lines of, I'd like to get it closer to how it is when you're going to watch a football basketball game. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go watch the thing. um, So we try to keep in line with that and separate those passes to avoid confusion. We didn't want a wall up just in terms of vocabulary, in terms of going to this event. We have a lot of competitive, casual people in our audience. Yeah, vendor spaces, competitor passes, spectator passes, side tournament, food, frequently asked questions. This was probably one of the more important areas because there's always a lot of questions. So we try to break that down as easily as we could. Definitely had to use an accordion. Typically, I try to shy away from accordions, but there was just so much information to have a page with that much content on it. Would have been a forever scroll. Um, Great event. It was the biggest esport event in Jacksonville. I think it still is to this time, and we gave out swords as part of the the prizes for the various championships. But one of the things that's funny that happened with Gladiators is over time, we transitioned with COVID, and we started getting more into online tournament. We started working with other partners to create tournaments where people could engage from home. UNF was a great partner in that. So our strategy changed up from having an in-person venue to how do we conduct these tournaments online, and also how do we constantly give props and create a cycle of, say, highlights, cycle of giving spotlight and attention to winners, so then the winners could then let other people know in their spheres of influence, hey, they did this thing, they won something, and to let it continue to grow. We needed to create a cycle that worked. So the blogging component was important, making sure that we were creating content that was shareable on social media, cutting clips, keeping leaderboards up to date, even giving shine to the people who didn't get to be in first place. So then they could still be like, hey, I was competing in this thing. I won. I got in second, third, fourth. giving making sure there was sponsorship opportunities or placement opportunities for the partnership or anybody else who wanted to sponsor, and having like the full kind of breakdown of how the games went. This was updated on a regular basis. Clips, and this was replicated for each game, and it was a formula that worked pretty well. We could see the continuous growth, and then going to the community just in terms of feedback of what games do you want next. A lot of times, the games had to be chosen in concert with what was aligned with the values of UNF and the community. So how do you marry that week in week out? It was great, and then the new people that you're giving shine to hopefully become new people uh, with your community. Yeah, rules was extremely important. Trying to figure out how do you put together. It was almost like community-based rules for a lot of it because some of the games were atypical. Ghost of Tsushima, not really typical. Ghost of Tsushima tournament rule set. Kind of had to create that. Having rules regarding conduct were extremely important. Otherwise, things would break down quickly, whether it was on stream or within actual Discord or Facebook chat. We try using multiple platforms. We use Discord. We heavily leaned on Discord, but then Facebook started rolling out into tournament based event systems that we tried to experiment with, and they seem like they worked pretty well. Sometimes it worked too well, where we get like a huge influx of people, but they weren't eligible to compete because of their region or what. So that was something to work through. But again, this site, the main thing was to get information quick and easy to the user. Uh, Trying to keep everything legible as possible, so that they could go through, find like scores, reporting. We had to create so many different form systems. See if they're still up. It's been a while. There you go. URL of the stream. Breaking down. I think, yeah, we had a bit of like self-reporting, and then we would go and validate because there's no way we weren't staffed to a point where we could keep track of all the different games happening at once. We keep track of the streams, and we would try to have them on our featured stream and to kind of work within that marketing component and to build a stronger sense of community. But we had to have a lot of self-reporting and like, okay, how do we make sure that people aren't cheating? Okay, take the screenshots. What are the total kills? Give us some information, and if you don't give it to us within the time frame, that obviously creates certain red flags and doesn't match with what the other people are sending as well. And then it's also kind of easy to follow back and check if there's some kind of opportunity for cheating or modding. Hey, had to stream the game, so let's go back and check and see what happened at that point. This is relevant. We like using the side nav. We've tried using a few different navs. Uh, Gladiators seemed like having, just because of the volume of different items that we had, that we felt like the user should be able to see in context. Another solution would have possibly breadcrumbs, so they could start themselves, like how deep down the rabbit hole they're going. Um, but this is a simple site, nice and clean. Stayed with the esports aesthetic. Again, with the sword championships, we designed the sword in the Gladiators logo itself. Custom made font. We went with the kind of like Japanese version to the side to kind of give the nod. Of hoping to grow into anime games going forward, and obviously with Dragon Ball and influence there. Was it just look cool? Also using pink. Pink became a secondary color to the GAAM brand as we started expanding bigger female audience, and we wanted to make sure that we were giving enough respect to that side of the audience. And hence why you'll see a lot of times as GAAM progressed, you'll see not just GAAM white and blue, it's GAAM white and blue, kind of show that it's a welcoming environment to part of the community. Again, simple hover actions. Let the user know that they're actually interacting with us. Try to make things easier. Scroll, go to tops. Um, that's GAAM Gladiators. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.